What's up guys, my name is Ace, and with the recent leaks about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is apparently going to be the next Call of Duty game, things have been sort of heating up a little bit when it comes to speculation and hopes and stuff for the next Call of Duty game. So today, I wanted to pick the top 10 lessons that I hope the next Call of Duty game learns from Modern Warfare. Now, many of these things are negative things that I feel like Modern Warfare didn't do a very good job with, and I hope we see something different with the next COD. Whereas other lessons I'll be talking about are positive things that I feel Modern Warfare did a great job with, and I hope they're able to emulate in the next game. Keep in mind with this list, it's entirely focused around regular multiplayer. I'm not going to be talking about campaign, not going to talk about Warzone, just the standard regular multiplayer experience that we're used to in Call of Duty. And let's kick things off on a positive note and discuss the things that I think Modern Warfare did a great job with, and I hope we see return for the next Call of Duty game. And the first one is pretty big. This is just the general feel and look of the game. Modern Warfare is by far the best looking Call of Duty game we have ever had due to the huge engine improvements that they've made for that game. And to top that off, the overall feel of the game is also great. Now, pretty much every Call of Duty game has felt great in my opinion. It's one of the best franchises when it comes to overall character feel for FPS games in my opinion. But Modern Warfare just took that to the next level, so I really hope we end up seeing this similar sort of look and feel return with Black Ops Cold War. And the good news is, this is very likely. They have mentioned in the past that all of these engine improvements that they made for Modern Warfare, that same engine is going to be what's used going forward for all future Call of Duty games. Of course, each studio will likely end up branching out and tailoring the engine to their needs, and it will feel a little bit different. But overall, that's the first really positive thing with Modern Warfare that I'm excited to see with the next COD game as well. As for the next lesson that I really hope they learn from Modern Warfare with this upcoming COD game, this is the overall post-launch content and monetization system. In my opinion, Modern Warfare absolutely nailed it in this area. All of the multiplayer maps in the game are free for anybody that owns the game, so there's no more separating the player base into different map packs and everything. All you have to do is buy the game and you get all future maps for free, which is amazing. Same thing goes with guns. There isn't a single gun in Modern Warfare that you had to pay any money for. All of the post-launch guns, not talking about blueprints, but actual statistically different guns, can be earned in a very reasonable amount of playtime. Whether that be in the season where they're launched, where you just have to level up the battle pass a little bit, and even for a super casual player, it's super easy for them to reach that level to unlock them. Or if you miss the season, all you have to do is complete a challenge, which usually takes you about 15 games, and you've got the gun. You don't need to spend a bunch of money to directly buy a gun, or even worse, spend a bunch of money gambling on supply drops, hoping that you get a gun that you want. Every single post-launch weapon in this game has been super easy to get through gameplay alone. And all of the paid-for content is purely cosmetic, which is great. Now, this lesson is especially important because this coming Call of Duty game is being made by Treyarch, and the recent Treyarch games do not have a good history when it comes to monetization. This was my biggest complaint with Black Ops 4 is the way that they handled post-launch content, and it was absolutely terrible. So I hope that's all being left behind, and with the success of Modern Warfare and their monetization system, I hope this exact system, or at least one very similar to this, will be carrying forward with Black Ops Cold War. But moving on to the next lesson, this is the final positive one that I have with Modern Warfare that I hope we end up seeing in some form in Black Ops Cold War. This is the gunsmith system. I really like the gunsmith system in general in Modern Warfare. That's not to say that I don't think there's room for improvement with this, because I definitely think there is. But the overall idea of being able to really customize and fine-tune a weapon and how it looks by putting different attachments on, and then having different attachment blueprints that you can get to really personalize things, I think that's great. Now, like I said though, I do think there's room for improvement, and one of my biggest issues with the gunsmith system is the fact that it gets a little bit complex. Even for somebody that does this for a living, what I do is break down weapons and how they behave and how attachments affect them. I have a very hard time keeping track of exactly how everything works in this game, so I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of that stuff simplified a little bit, or at least more clearly represented so we can see exactly how each attachment affects a particular gun. But yeah, aside from that, I'm a big fan of the gunsmith system, and I would love to see something like that return with Black Ops Cold War. So that covers it for the 3 most positive lessons that I would love to see taken from Modern Warfare and used in Black Ops Cold War. Now let's move on to some of the more negative things, the things that I think Modern Warfare did really poorly, and I hope the next CoD game avoids these. First up, one of the biggest things for me and for a lot of other players, I really hope we see an adjustment to the way that they handle matchmaking in Black Ops Cold War. The main thing is, I hope we don't see another strict skill-based matchmaking system with absolutely no rank attached to it, no way to track your improvement or see where you stand in the community. Ideally, I want to see a solid ranked playlist with competitive rules and a really strict skill-based matchmaking system, but you have different skill ranks and tiers that you can grind through so you have something to strive for, and then a significantly reduced skill-based matchmaking system for the regular casual modes. I'm not saying eliminate it completely. I'm all for a protected bracket to protect like the lowest of low skill players and keep them out of the regular matchmaking. That's fine. I just don't want it to be as strict as it is in Modern Warfare, because for me at least, that's one of the biggest issues that basically killed any incentive for me to want to play and try to improve at Modern Warfare. This is the #1 reason that Modern Warfare's multiplayer has been my least played Call of Duty game since CoD 4. So for me, that's a really big one, and I know for a ton of other people, that's a potential deal breaker when it comes to the next Call of Duty game. So I hope we see some significant improvements in that area. The next lesson I really hope they learn from Modern Warfare is anti-cheat. I hope we have a proper anti-cheat system in Black Ops Cold War, especially assuming we're going to have crossplay, which it's pretty much a given at this point. Crossplay is going to be a staple going forward. And if that's the case, I really hope they step it up when it comes to anti-cheat, because Modern Warfare, especially in the past month or two, has been a pretty big embarrassment in this particular area, and it's really sad to see. As for the next lesson that I feel they should learn from Modern Warfare, this is the minimap. I really hope they go back to the traditional Call of Duty minimap that we've been used to for the past over a decade now, because this is a staple of the Call of Duty franchise, and I feel like it's a big part of the pacing and the gameplay experience of Call of Duty. By not having those red dots appear on the minimap if you fire an unsilenced gun unless the enemy has a UAV up, this overall discourages movement in my opinion. The less information players have about what's going on around them, the more likely they are to just sit and wait for something to happen rather than feel comfortable going out there and trying to make something happen. So yeah, I really hope we see that traditional Call of Duty minimap return. As for another lesson to learn from Modern Warfare, this is something that I feel has really hurt objective game modes. This is the fact that Modern Warfare uses kill streaks by default, and there's also no kill streak looping within the same life. So let's start off with the first part. Having kill streaks by default, I think, was a huge step backwards. Score streaks were a great innovation, in my opinion, with the Call of Duty franchise, and I can't believe that they decided to go backwards on this. Now, I realize you could use Point Man, but that's competing with some of the most powerful perks in Modern Warfare, and I think, if anything, score streaks should be the default, and then maybe there should be an option for kill streaks for those players that prefer kill streaks over score streaks. In my experience, if I hop into a game of domination right now, it seems like at most a couple players on each team actually care about the objective, and everybody else is basically just playing team deathmatch and domination. They're ignoring any form of objective play, and they're not even getting kills near the objective. They just don't care because the incentive isn't there. Score streaks are a great thing for Call of Duty, especially in objective game modes, and I really want to see them return as the default streak system. But going off of that second point, I also feel that streaks should be able to loop within the same life. With Modern Warfare, once you earn your highest streak, you might as well just go and kill yourself or get yourself killed on purpose so you can start earning your next set of streaks again. And to me, that's silly because it requires the same amount of effort to earn those streaks a second time in the same life, so why not have the option to do that? Now, obviously, with the kill chain perk in Modern Warfare, I understand they don't want looping streaks with that, and that's fine, that totally makes sense, but outside of a perk like that, I see no reason for them to not have the ability to loop streaks. I don't think that you should have to actively kill yourself or get yourself killed in order to earn more rewards in the game. As for the next thing on my list, this is just maps and spawns. Now, these two things are very intertwined, so that's why I just included them on the same lesson. But my big issue with the map design in Modern Warfare is it's too porous, which is something that the developers purposely included into the game to help lesser skilled players out, so they could basically have places to hide from the more skilled players that are hunting them, which I think is silly in an arcade-style shooter. But on top of this, the biggest issue I have with the maps is there are often just too many angles to account for at any given time, to the point where no matter how skilled you are, you're going to have to kind of take a gamble as to which one of the windows or which one of the spots an enemy is going to be appearing in. Now, I'm not saying every single map is like this, but many of the maps in Modern Warfare are like this. And I feel like this is yet another thing that just discourages movement in the game, and that's not a good thing for an arcade-style shooter. Call of Duty's success has really been built on the fast-paced, constant action over the years, and this style of map design completely contradicts that. There's a reason that Shipment and Shoot House are such popular maps, and anytime they disappear out of rotation, there is mass outrage online, and this is because those provide that fast-paced, constant action that a huge portion of the player base is looking for. Now, I'm not saying that every map should be like Shoot House or Shipment, because that would be ridiculous. I just feel like there's a happy middle ground that should be found for the majority of maps, and the majority of Modern Warfare maps took it too far in the other direction. On this same point of map design, we have spawns, because like I said, they are very intertwined, and this is another area where Modern Warfare did not do a good job with. It seems like they're doing everything in their power to eliminate any form of map control in the game. And map control is a higher level big picture skill that rewards players that are capable of seeing that big picture. And it seems like, just like with many of the other designs in Modern Warfare, they're trying to take any of that power away from the skilled players in order to appeal to the lesser skilled, more casual players. And while I think they've been successful at that, it really eliminates the desire to play for people that are skilled at the game. This is actually one of the biggest complaints of the professional players in the competitive scene. No matter how well you and your team play a situation and get a really good setup in and play that big picture against the other team, there's a good chance you're just going to get screwed over by some spawn that shouldn't really be happening, that essentially eliminates the need for that big picture thinking. So it seems like with both the maps as well as the spawns, they're both designed to kind of dumb the game down to make sure that skilled players don't get too much of an advantage over lesser skilled players. And this just waters down the game at higher levels of play and reduces that skill ceiling, which is not a good feeling for people that really try to improve and they invest a lot of time trying to get better at the game. But moving on to the next lesson that I hope they learned from Modern Warfare, and this is one that I think a really good portion of the community would agree with. This is the fact that in Modern Warfare, for the first time ever, lobbies constantly break up on their own, so you don't just stick with the same lobby of people, and you can keep playing those rematches against people if you want, or you can just hop out and find a different lobby. They've eliminated that, and lobbies just break up on their own. And on top of this, there is no map voting. There's no say in the map that you're about to play. And with both of these, it feels like they've taken a lot of your choice away in your gameplay experience. I really miss in old Call of Duty games getting into a great lobby of people where we kind of develop rivalries and you learn how the other people are playing in the lobby and you adapt your playstyle accordingly. Now, on the other end of that, if you didn't like the lobby, it was your choice to leave whenever you wanted to leave. Whereas now they've completely taken that choice away from you, and now after almost every game, the lobby just breaks up and you get thrown into a completely different lobby with new enemies. Now, I've seen a lot of people come back with this saying, well, it has to be that way because people have different quick play filters, so they have different modes selected. But I don't see the problem with persistent lobbies, where if you don't want to play that game mode now, you just leave the game and search again, and the quick play filters will pop you into one of the modes that you have selected again. I would much rather that domination lobby stay a domination lobby and anybody can hop in or out whenever they please, rather than forcing that lobby to break up after every game because some of the people in that lobby may also want to play a different mode because that's their selection. If they want to play a different mode, they can back out and choose that for themselves. I hate the fact that in this game, you don't have that choice. The game chooses for you. And the same thing goes with map voting here. It just feels like they've taken a lot of that player choice away. I'm not saying that we should be able to vote on the exact map that we play. It would just be nice to have a choice to either skip the map that's going to be coming up or vote between two different maps like we've had in almost every previous Call of Duty game. But finally, this leaves us with one last lesson that I really hope they learn from Modern Warfare for future Call of Duty games, and this is footstep audio balance. Now, my big problem in multiplayer, at least for Modern Warfare, is footsteps are quite loud and quite easy to hear, especially for players that are camping and not moving around at all. And there's no option for a permanent dead silence. So if you want to approach them, you either have to crouch walk around the map, which is not realistic for many of these maps due to their size, or the other option is you wait for dead silence to charge up and then you get it for a short period of time. Both of these options take away from that fast-paced gameplay experience that we're used to with Call of Duty, and they significantly slow the pace of the game, and they reward people that sit still and just lock down a room because it allows them to rely on that footstep audio. So in the next Call of Duty game, I hope there's some changes. Either have these footsteps reasonably loud like they are in Modern Warfare, but give the option for permanent dead silence. And that way people that want to be more aggressive, they can use that perk to comfortably move around the map and approach people that are camping without having to wait for something to charge up. Of course, make it so it's a trade-off as well. So if you're choosing dead silence, you're missing out on another great perk, so then it wouldn't necessarily just become the obvious choice. The other option is if there isn't going to be a permanent dead silence, then at least bring the footstep audio down to a level where you can't rely on it so much. I feel like CoD World War II actually found a pretty good balance here. Not many people were using the Mountain Division, which is the one that gave you dead silence, and yet I felt the footstep audio was fine in that game. Yes, in a really quiet situation, if somebody was sprinting wildly, you could pick up on footsteps and prepare for those people. However, I never really felt comfortable relying on hearing enemy footsteps, and that's good balance in my opinion. With Modern Warfare, I really feel like you can rely on those footsteps, and in my opinion, that's just way too much. It significantly slows down the pace of the gameplay, and it punishes people that are going out and making plays happen, while rewarding the people that are just sitting and waiting for something to happen. But that finally covers it for my list of the top 10 lessons that I hope the next Call of Duty game will learn from Modern Warfare. Of course, I'd like to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. First up, what do you guys think about my list? Are there any that you agree with or disagree with? And also, are there any other things that you would like to add to my list? Just let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.